Is it Monday already? Wow. Another week has passed by. Another week has gone by. Is time slipping away from you? Finding it hard to grasp on to the moment? That's okay. Probably has something to do with your identity, who you think you are, which is the topic of our conversation today, of course. Now, let's take a moment, as we always do, to remind ourselves, remind our body, our minds, and our spirits who we actually are and what it is that we accept and agree with about ourselves. This is divine. This is natural. Success is divinely natural. Love is divinely natural. Wholeness is divinely natural. And so open your palms, tilt your chin slightly upward. Close your eyes if you can and repeat this after me. Right here and right now, I accept my divinity. Right here and right now, I accept love. Right here and right now, I accept myself. Right here and right now, I accept all of the things that have been done to me. And right here and right now, I accept all of the things that I have done. I cannot make a wrong decision. Every choice I make is the right choice. Every smile I give is the perfect smile. Everything I receive, good, bad, or indifferent, I receive with love. Right here and right now, I love myself more than I've ever loved myself in my life. All right, family. That was a little longer than usual, so I'll make the podcast a little shorter than usual. Title of this podcast. As you're listening to it, this is the title. Why your identity is destroying your life. Destroying is a very powerful word. And I like to know the definitions of words. And so I found out what destroy means. To put an end to the existence of something by damaging or attacking it. So we are putting an end to the existence of something by destroying our lives. We're putting an end to our life. Now, this can be a good thing. This can also be a not so good thing. But these are some factors that do attribute to our identities that I'd like you to ponder on. And as that's happening, you might find yourself seeing yourself differently. So the name you hold is one aspect. The face you have that you look at in the mirror, that's another aspect. The things that you've been through, it's an aspect as well of the self and identity. The words that you use are an aspect of your identity. The things that you do are an aspect of your identity. The things that you want are an aspect of your identity, and the opinions that you have. These are just a few. I'm sure you can think of many, 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 many more. But out of just simplicity's sake, we just want to touch on a few. So let's just chat quickly about the name that you hold. Right now, your brain already thought of your name. You didn't even have to think. I didn't even have to say, hey, think about what your name is, right? Your brain just associated name. My name is me. Okay, I am John, or I am Carrie, or I am Makaija. The name that people call us by, that we answer to, some degree of that has become who we are, right? Oh, that's a really Makaija thing to say. Oh no, that's just how Micaiah talks, or that's just how John talks. That's just what John does. I mean, that's just how he is. That's just John, right? John is John. You ever said something like that? Or heard someone say something like that? Well, yeah, John is John. Maddie is Maddie. They just are who they are. But what is it really? Like, if I call a cup a table, I have created a path of confusion. If I say, hey, grab that table and bring it to me, is someone going to grab a cup? No. So we identify the word cup with the actual physical thing cup. But a cup could have been named a table. A cup could have been named chair. A cup could have been named anything. But what is it really? It just is what it is until we place a label on it, a name on it. Okay? And these are just food for thoughts. I know that I typically give some sort of like tool or some sort of maybe extrapolated like answer to a question, but I'm truly just throwing these things out there for your own imagination to go wander with and play with and see how this affects your daily life as you now know these things. So the second thing is the face that you have. If you woke up in the morning, just imagine this for a second. You woke up in the morning, you walked over to the mirror, right, where you brush your teeth and get ready for the day. And you look up and that face is not your face. What are you gonna do? How would you feel? Like, what would go through your mind? Immediate freak out, right? Just right off the bat, what is happening? That's not me. That's not me. That's not who I am. But isn't it you who's looking at the mirror still, who sees that the mirror changed, the face in the mirror changed? You're still you, recognizing that something's changed. So you're not your face, right? You're not your face. You're not your body. When you were 12, you looked in the mirror the same way you do now, and you had a different body. You had different teeth. You had a different face. You had different features. You may have been a fat little kid, and now you're buff and, right, like fit. Or you may have been a skinny kid and now you're fat. Or you may have been skinny and you still are skinny, but now you're taller, right? If you're a lady, you have some bosoms and some bottom, a little bit more, hopefully, right? Cross your fingers. But you've changed over time. The same thing would occur if you got up in the morning and looked in the mirror and said, whoa, that's not the same person. I even do that now. But that's because I have associated myself, like the self that's within the body, with the thing that is the body. And slowly but surely, when you start to release all of those tethers that you have to the thing that you think you are, which is the physical, which you're not the physical, you're the astral, you are the metaphysical, the beyond physical, then we just end up in a place of confusion, right? So the things that you've been through also play into your identity. The things you've been through. Family life, early. Friends, right? Things you've been through, hard times, good times, all these things you've been through, we associate that with this is who I am, somebody who's been through these things. But if someone were to come up and ask you, who are you? You could say your name. And this is how it was introduced to me years ago, actually. How funny. I'm actually amazing. 4 years ago, I read this amazing book called The Untethered Soul. I just used the word untethered, and now I'm talking about how I learned this in the first place. But now I've seen it play out in life after 4 years of reading it. But anyway, read that book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. It will change your life, and it will change it for the better. But in that book, right, he says if someone asked you, who are you, most people would respond with their name, right? Like, oh, I am Micaiah Kesey. But am I a summation of letters? No. Okay, well, I am a black, quote, black person. We'll talk about that later. But I am a, quote, black person, right? Well, no, I'm not my body. I'm not my skin tone. Or I can say something like, if they say, who are you? I can say something like, well, I'm someone who was born in Southern California. I went to elementary school, went to junior high, went to high school. I ended up going to college. Now I'm in sales, right? Like, I can define myself by those three topics I just mentioned: name, face, or the things I've been through. But are those really me? Or are those things I went through? Is that something I think I am? The words we use. Again, the cursing, the cussing that I used to have a lot of in my mouth, I've slowly but surely gone away from that because I have disassociated Makaija from who I am, which sounds crazy, family. I understand that. It does sound a little wacky. But if I continue to associate with, oh, this is just how I am, Makaija cusses a lot, then I would never change that, right? So I don't want to be who I was 5 years ago. I'd rather be better than I was 5 years ago. Therefore, I have to disassociate myself with who I was 5 years ago and who I thought I was, to be specific, 5 years ago. Right? So the things I want are also a portion of, an aspect of the identity that I think I am. If I want something, I want it, right? But what part of me is actually wanting that thing? Is it because of my face? Because I'm Makaija, I should want this? Is it because I'm a woman, I should want to get married, right? Is it or have children? Or because I'm black, I should want to be a part of only black-owned businesses? Right? Are you seeing how these identities start to tie you to like specific things? Or am I just kind of talking crazy here? Somebody out there's got to understand what I'm saying, because I mean it's not that hard to grasp. The opinions I have, the opinions about things. Oh, I would never do that. Why wouldn't I ever do that? Well, because I'm Makaija and I'd never wanted to do that. Or, right, like we have associated ourselves with certain identity. Well, we associated our identities with certain aspects of ourselves instead of associating our identities with who we actually are. Which is not a name, not a face, not what I've been through, not what the words I say, not the things I do now, not the things I want, not the opinions I have. I'm none of those things. You're none of those things. So at this point in time, naturally, one might be thinking, who am I then? Seek, and ye shall find. Thank you for joining me on another podcast. This has been a little teensy beachy beach, and that's why I'm not expanding on these things, guys. I'm working on short bursts of information here. These can be expanded on, and I can easily go into depth on these specific aspects if you would like me to, with your own personal self and who you think you are. We can go through these things, lay out the rest of the aspects that I know are there, that you may know, that I'm unaware of. And we can work on this together and start the journey, if you have not already began, of actually discovering who that is, what that is, who am I? That's the question of the millennium. Who am I? Because I'm not this name, I'm not this body. I'm not the things I want, I'm not the things I think, I'm not the things I feel, which is another aspect. Feelings. Oof, I didn't even touch on that, guys. So again, I'm breaking this down very small, but they can be expanded on, and maybe in the future I might go into depth on each individual. This is a whole season, actually, like just on identity. That can be a whole 10 episode podcast season, maybe longer than 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes per episode. All right, but episode 1 being the name, episode 2 being the face, episode 3 the things you've been through, and we can dive deep. So you can wait for that to come out, right? And 6 months, a year, however long it takes for that to actually make sense for me to put together a specific season for that. You can wait for that and just see the general stuff. Or you can have the courage to take action now and contact me via Instagram, Facebook, however you can, YouTube, whatever, and we can get started on your specific situation right now. Okay, if that sounds interesting to you, do what we just talked about. Reach out to me. I'm open and available for you guys at certain times of the day, certain days of the week, but we can figure out a schedule that works best for us both. So thank you again for joining. This has been Direct Sunlight and Makaija. Remember, be the sun, not its rays. This is what we're talking about. Being the sun, okay? Not what it shines on, not the name, not the face, not the feelings, not the thoughts, not the words, not the opinions, not anything you've been through. Be the sun, not the rays. And remember, mind is matter, baby. I love you guys so much. Thank you again for your support.